This episode is brought to you by Jinx, the superfood-powered dog kibble everyone's been talking about. See the results for yourself and try their 1-month transformation. Within the first few weeks, you'll see how Jinx can help with your dog's energy, mood, and even digestion. And it's all thanks to the high-quality ingredients they use, like organic chicken, Atlantic salmon, and grass-fed beef. Try the 1-month transformation today. Find Jinx in your local Walmart.
Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Central Texas Living with Ann Harder.
Hello, I'm Ann Harder. Welcome to Central Texas Living, the podcast. The world's largest dinosaurs exhibit is now on display at the Mayborn Museum on the Baylor campus. It explores the biology of some super-sized dinos. And here to tell us more, Rebecca Null, who's Assistant Director of Communication for the Mayborn. It is good to have you with us again.
It's nice to see you in person, Ann.
I know. And, you were on the podcast a year or so ago, I guess.
It was March. It was right before everything closed down, I remember.
That's right. It was before everything closed down. And you're back up and running at the Mayborn, which is excellent news. And this really is a major exhibit.
It is. We've had this exhibit in the works for a couple of years, so we're very excited that we were able to continue to host it. And it is on loan from the American Museum of Natural History in New York. They're the ones that did the research and developed and curated this exhibit. So it's a big deal, pun intended.
It is a very big deal because it's kind of focusing on the super-sized dinosaurs.
Yes, it's about the long-necked, long-tailed sauropods. So those are the largest dinosaurs to ever walk the earth.
You think of the Sinclair ad for, is that
Yes.
what we're talking about? Like
Yes.
the Sinclair oil?
Yeah, maybe whenever I was a kid, Brontosaurus maybe would have been a sauropod, but there's been new research. And so there's a lot of different types of sauropod. It's a very diverse group. So they ranged in size from 15 feet to more than 150 feet long.
Mm-hmm. So you've got a great space.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when the Mayborn was built and walking through it even before it opened, and this is our great exhibit space. So you can bring in these traveling exhibits. It's big enough, I guess, because these examples are pretty monstrous.
Yeah, it looks really great in the space. And
Good.
it uses, we have high ceilings in that space, and it uses it very well. Whenever you first walk in, you see a dinosaur head sticking out of the wall, and it's an Argentinosaurus. And that's one of the largest, if not the largest, sauropod. So that's an example of one of those. So he's kind of greeting you whenever you walk in.
Now, is this like Dynamation where they move and talk?
No, they don't.
Okay.
But they're...
Well, they don't necessarily talk, but make sounds.
Well, there is a Mamenchisaurus in the center of the exhibit. So he it's front and center, and he's 60 feet long. And so he's fully fleshed out, so you could kind of see maybe what the whole dinosaur might look like. And then on one side, it's kind of taken down to the muscle. And then there's a projection on the side, so you can learn more about the respiratory system and the heart and the digestive system of how that might work on these giant creatures. It's pretty interesting.
What is it about dinosaurs that's so fascinating, particularly to kids?
Well, everybody loves dinosaurs. I think it's just it's hard to even imagine, a time when they, these big, gigantic creatures walk the earth. And there's so much that we have been able to learn from the fossil record, but a lot that there is still to learn. Science is constantly evolving. And then there's probably a lot that we will never know.
couple of weeks ago, we were talking with the wonderful folks at the Waco Mammoth National Monument, and the collaboration, obviously, with the Mayborn Museum, and how so many of those mammoth bone fossils are there at the Mayborn, and yet that was 67,000 years ago. We're talking many, many years ahead of that for the dinosaurs. Kind of get us in the right mindset.
Yes. So this species lasted for more than 140 million years, the sauropods. So they were very successful. And this was millions and millions of years before the mammoths were found in this area.
Yeah, yeah. So how many dinosaurs will folks see?
There's the two that I mentioned, but then there's a lot of other. So those are the ones that are kind of fleshed out, and you might be able to see what a dinosaur looks like. But they're kind of represented throughout. There's a huge hind leg of a supersaurus, and that's compared to a human skeleton. So you can see how just this leg towers over a human skeleton. There's also some vertebrae bones. There's a lot where you can compare these creatures to current living creatures. So you can learn how they were able to exist as a species so big. So there's a vertebra that you can look at and compare to, from a sauropod that you can compare to a giraffe. And they look very similar, but their necks were so long. You see the Mamenchisaurus's neck was more than 30 feet long. You can see that there are actually air pockets in that vertebrae to make it lighter
so
compared to a giraffe.
Sure, they lift it up,
Yeah, just hold it up.
Well, is it because the plant life was that tall, or what do they know? What do scientists know about what these creatures ate to maintain a living organism that big?
They were herbivores, and so the large ones had to eat about 1,000 pounds of vegetation a day to live. And they didn't have hind teeth. There's a comparison of a Diplodocus skull next to a horse, a modern day horse, and you can see that they both have nipping teeth in the front, but the horse has the cheek teeth in the back. And the Diplodocus doesn't, because they didn't chew their food. They would just swallow it whole.
Swallowing it whole.
Because chewing would just slow them down, because they've got to just keep fueling, getting more energy.
Yeah. Where were these fossils found? Where they did the study and the research? It wasn't this part of the world, obviously, was it? Although we know Glen Rose has got dinosaur.
Yeah, Glen Rose was the closest that a sauropod was found.
Oh, really? Okay.
But they were really all over. I mentioned the Argentinosaurus, so named because it was found in Argentina, and there were some found in modern day China, just all over.
Yeah, and I understand also there's even a nest and an egg that hatches.
That section is very interesting because it kind of shows you how you'd think that these dinosaurs are so huge that their eggs would be enormous too. But even some of the biggest sauropods only had eggs that were maybe about the size of a volleyball.
Really? Oh my goodness!
And so they just grew rapidly. The
really
babies
fast
once they were born. So the babies after they were hatched were 10,000 times smaller than a mature adult.
Wouldn't they run the risk of getting stepped on?
Yes, it was.
I would think.
It was a numbers game.
Yeah. They'd have lots of eggs.
Yes,
huh?
They'd have lots of eggs several times a year. The mothers did not stay with their young; they just laid eggs and then would move on. And
I guess kind of like even turtles. They lay their eggs and then they're on their own trying to get back to the ocean.
Yes.
Same type thing. Fascinating stuff. Again, kids are so excited to learn about dinosaurs, as are their parents. You've got some great guides as well, I understand, that folks can access.
Yeah, we have a lot of information on our website, on the exhibit website, and then there's an exhibition guide that you can download to look at, in advance, or if you want, you were, piqued your interest and you want to learn a little bit more after your visit, you can check those out.
Yeah, well, let's talk some other things in general about the Mayborn. You kind of got back open and running and programs again when?
Yeah, so we reopened in August, and we've been kind of opening in stages.
You're right.
So our hands-on Discovery Center just opened in March, the second floor.
Okay.
And we plan to reopen our Play Waco space, which is our 5 and under space, hopefully early July.
That's where the HEB
Yes.
carts. And
Yes.
my granddaughters love that.
It's the most popular, and people are
It
so
is.
sad that it's closed. There's so many manipulatives in that space.
Oh, I know. Keeping it clean is, yeah.
And we're also we're using this time to, make some upgrades to the grocery store. We're adding a lot of more graphics so that kids will know how to restock groceries after they pulled them all off the shelves. So there's going to be hopefully some really fun updates that people will notice whenever it reopens. So we're actually in the middle of working on that now. And so yeah, we're just we've been pretty busy in June so far. So we're excited to start seeing more people, feeling great about exploring the museum again.
This episode is brought to you by Jinx, the superfood-powered dog kibble everyone's been talking about. See the results for yourself and try their 1-month transformation. Within the first few weeks, you'll see how Jinx can help with your dog's energy, mood, and even digestion. And it's all thanks to the high-quality ingredients they use, like organic chicken, Atlantic salmon, and grass-fed beef. Try the 1-month transformation today. Find Jinx in your local Walmart.
What are the rules now on masks and so forth?
I think that probably some of that might be changing in, coming days. So, masks are optional for vaccinated, and that's the current, for vaccinated people, and that's the current Baylor policy.
Okay. Yeah, I know Baylor has continued to change their policies on those requirements as well. So what other changes have happened at the museum in the last year or so since I've had a chance to come over there and check it out? So, I was seeing some video that's like, it looked like a hallway, and there was this noise that would make, and I thought, well, I don't remember seeing that. Have there been some new things that are sort of not hands-on manipulative, but as you walk down, it makes sounds and stuff? I know the keyboard, you can jump on the keyboard, and some of those are all available for folks to.
Yes, and we had put, fewer manipulatives out whenever we first reopened,
Right.
and we're starting to put a lot more of those out now.
Okay.
We have a really good system, we think, for keeping things sanitized. And we have, one of the coolest new things that's happened since, over the last year is that we have a Merlin engine from SpaceX on display in the rotunda.
Really?
And then we also got a T-Rex skeleton is in the rotunda too. That's on loan from the Perot. So there's a lot of new things to look at if you haven't been to the museum in a while. And we have we created a SpaceX exhibit that was on display downstairs a couple of years ago, and we've moved most of that upstairs into the Discovery Center. And so the Merlin engine will eventually go up there as well. So we're excited. There's a lot of new things. We have more bubbles.
Oh, good. Oh, the girls love that.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that and the big thing that you could make like boats go.
Yes. So we actually, because our backyard ecology hall that opened in 2020, October 2020, was I think maybe it's October 2019. We have a lost year in there.
Yeah, we do.
It has a new updated water table. So we actually turned the water table upstairs into a big bubble tray.
Oh, okay.
So it has huge bubble wands.
Yeah.
And I took my girls, we hadn't been since the second floor reopened. I took them just a couple of weeks ago, and I could not get them out of that room.
Right, I know that's what, and they end up just wet because they've been playing all the. Yeah, well, hopefully the granddaughters are coming in sometime this summer, and we'll be back. Which brings me to your tickets and sponsorships and things that people can do to buy passes. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So the tickets are $10 for adults, $9 for seniors, and $8 for children ages 2 to 12. And those can be, purchased at the front desk, or you can reserve your tickets online if you want to have a faster check-in. And we do have it where you're purchasing for, an hour. But that's just your arrival time. We've had a lot of questions. Is that the only time that I can be there? Is this
I have
hour?
to be here at 2 o'clock or whatever.
You can stay as long as you want. That's just your suggested arrival time. And that $10 is everything. It's a general admission. It's the world's largest dinosaurs. It's everything.
Oh, well, and that's good. And it's a good thing, really, to have that to manage crowds, because I would think there might be buses of folks coming. What have the crowds been like so far? I know you just, opened.
It's been busier.
Yeah.
It has been, we've seen a noticeable difference. And we're also starting to see more school groups coming back. There are still some schools that are in session. We think that we're going to have some summer camps coming to visit. So that's been great. It's been really exciting. I think we had our first field trip in April, and it was a group of kindergartners, and it was their first field trip ever, and they were so excited to get to come to the museum.
Well, that's a perfect place to start off, isn't it? Of course, you've got more things coming up on into the fall. I know Baylor Lifelong Learners, or Continuing Education, I don't know, they keep changing the name of it, is going to be hosted by the Mayborn.
It is.
This fall, and I'll be doing a series there on music, and so it's going to be fun.
Yes, so that is live on our website. So Lifelong Learning has joined the Mayborn Museum, and we are very excited. So anyone who wants to check that out, it's for anyone who is age 50 and better, who is interested in lifelong learning. There's a lot of fun classes, including one from Anne. And you can join as a lifelong learning member, but that will include, a membership to the Mayborn Museum. So you get to register for classes as a lifelong learning member, but you can also be a grandparent member and then bring all of your grandchildren throughout the summer. And there are going to be some classes that are on Zoom in the fall, but the majority are going to be in person. And we have been hosting lifelong learning classes at the museum for a while. And so we're excited to, officially, bring them to be part of the Mayborn.
That's good. That is excellent. And we're really looking forward to that. That's going to be in November. So we'll probably be talking about it a little bit more as we get closer. But yeah, lots of great ways to expand your knowledge and understanding of this great world. And ages way, way, way past when we're talking about dinosaurs. Understand this was a massive undertaking to bring this dinosaur exhibit, that many semi-tractor trailers, and all that. Logistics worked out great, though.
Yes, it was 7 trucks.
Was it really?
Our exhibits vary in size, but just for comparison, we hosted Paw Patrol for most of this year, which is a super fun exhibit. It was 2 trucks. So this was 7 semi-trucks and more than 3-week installation that our team worked hard at. And there were some folks from the American Museum of Natural History that came to help set it up. And it was just, it was a big undertaking, but we're excited to have it open and to see so many people that are interested in the exhibit.
Well, and of course, I think the Titanic exhibit, another one of the great traveling exhibits that was there at the Mayborn. And what are you looking for maybe even further down the road? You have some other things in the works. You said it took 2 years to get this great dinosaurs here.
Yes, we do have some exhibits scheduled for next spring and next summer, but we are currently looking for ideas and offerings for 2023 and beyond. But we have a fun, next spring, we're going to host the dinosaur train exhibit. So it'll continue to be the year of the dinosaur.
Good.
So that'll come in January, and it's from the Magic House Museum in St. Louis.
Have been there. Yeah.
I have not been there. I've heard it's a great museum.
Is amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be wonderful. What a great thing. So you're preparing for all kinds of crowds, and as you say, get your ticket, and it'll give you a general time that you need to be there, and that will probably facilitate getting through.
Yes. Yes, we have. We are still limiting our capacity, but it's not. We haven't really seen any times where people really have to wait.
Okay.
And as we've been opening up more of the building, we kind of raise the number of people that we can see because there's more spaces available for them to go.
Good, good. Again, so what is the website? How can folks get more information? Maybe see about becoming season tickets. I guess you call it season ticket holder.
A museum member.
Museum member. There we go.
And, a family membership is only $95. So if you come just a couple of times,
That's
it
gonna
will
pay for that.
for itself. We're selling a lot of memberships. And so you can find out all about the dinosaur exhibit, our membership program, or our lifelong learning program at www.maybornmuseum.com.
Very good. Rebecca, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
See you at the museum. Central Texas Living is part of the Rogue Media Network family. Be sure to check out their other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate us 5 stars on iTunes and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Living, the podcast.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into KNOW Waco. I am your host, Debbie, here to help you get in the know about Waco. So you may be asking yourself, why am I here? I'm here to be your tour guide through Waco. I'm here to tell you all the goings-on in and around Waco. I'm going to give you the 411 on what's happening, what's going on, and what events you should go to. This is your host, Debbie, signing off. Now that you know, go. Just go, Waco.
You are going on a run.
Are you building a new business while managing a family? Are you tired of trying to balance home and work and everything seems to be coming up short? Then there's a podcast made just for you. Baking Your Business from Scratch is where we create the perfect recipe for building a successful business while managing your home and family with love. Come join us and see for yourself.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.